first station was the station of al-yaqza, yani to wake up. The question, after I have passed the first station of yaqza, waking up, to awaken from that slumber, does it mean that when I go into the second station and the third station or the 30th station, I forget about the first station? Yani the first station has to be in mind at all time. Likewise, all 10 stations, irrespective of what stations I have reached, all the 10 stations, all the stations have to be taken into account in this spiritual journey. So the first station was the station of Yaqza. Very quick recap on that one. How does one develop this station of Waqf or Yaqza? Number one is constantly to remember death and pose questions to oneself that where am I coming from, where am I heading to, what is this time frame that I have with me, and to remember death all the time. Second, to remember the punishment of the hellfire. And one of the recommended surahs to recite is Surah Waqi'ah. Surah Waqi'ah is basically recommended after the Maghrib prayer. Highly recommended. It is said that it's very good for sustenance as well, increase in risk as well. But then we do not want to recite Surah Waqi'ah for the sake of reciting and for the sake of the sustenance. No. The whole idea of Surah Waqi'ah, the reason is that once you read Surah Waqi'ah with its meaning, we get to understand the reality of life. Allah SWT is very explicit with regards to the events that will come after death. So Surah Waqi'ah is one of the, and Surah Mulk as well after Isha. Contemplating on the Holy Quran, not only reciting the Holy Quran, making it a habit on a daily basis, minimum 5 ayahs, we said, you must recite before you go to bed, but not only recitation, but also trying and understand what we are reciting. The fifth prescription for al-yaqza, wake up, is majalis al-dhikr. This is the gathering where these reminders are given. Try and make it a habit of attending such majalis al-dhikr on a regular basis. Reason is that this dunya that we live in, there are so many things that we go through on a day-to-day basis that we tend to forget what's going to come in the life after this. We have this dunya, we have our friends, we have our family, we have our children, we have our works, which make us engrossed in this for us to forget the reality. This is something that we need to bear in mind, because this will result in the state of ghafla, heedlessness. We tend to forget. The second station, after I have woken up from my slumber and my sleep, and that realization has come into me that I need to do something. Irrespective of what age I am in, I could be 15, I could be 25, 45, 85, irrespective of what age is there, the doors of Tawbah are open. قُلْ يَا عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسْرَفُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ. Do not despair in the mercy of Allah. Irrespective what I have done in my past. The past should not stop me from making use of this opportunity that Allah SWT has opened for me, the door of Tawbah. So, station of Tawbah. One of the prerequisites and the condition of a Tawbah is to feel a remorseness in me. That regret that yes, I did mess myself up. I got to be remorseful. So that is number one. Number two is the fear of the fire of hell. I have to bear that in mind at all times as well. The temptations of paradise. I don't know if you remember, we had covered in the initial stages the 7 different types of intentions. I was trying to go through my records and I couldn't find it, and I just listed them down. I've forgotten one, so maybe if one of you can remember it, you can remind this to me. That the different types of intentions in terms of their levels, quality. The first intention of ibadah, of worship, is that I worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala simply because I fear the fire of Allah. Whenever people talk about the fire of hell, it puts that fear into me, and it is for this reason that I worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second level of intention is because of the paradise, the bounties of paradise. They are so tempting that I worship Allah solely for that. People tell me, you do this, you get this much sawab, I'll do that. You do this, you get this much sawab, I'll do that. Why? Because of the temptation of the sawab and the temptation of paradise, I worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third intention, the third level of intention is that the bounties that I am enjoying in this world that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gifted me, I'm thankful to those bounties, and I worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One, being thankful to Him. Two, the fear that this might be taken away from me. Yes, I think this is pretty natural. We all go through that phase, right? Right? That whatever He has given me, I'm thankful to that, and I worship You because of whatever You have given me. One. At the same time, I see people overnight, they go bankrupt and they lose everything, and everything is gone. Loss of life, Habibi, from family, children, close, some are very close to me, gone. So that fear is as well there. So I worship Allah and say, protect me, Allah, from all these calamities. I don't want to go through this suffering. So I worship Allah because of this. Number 4 is, and I think it's 4 or 5, that's what I'm missing here. This is where the link is. So if you remember that, inshallah, is out of shame, I worship Allah. The level is getting better. We are not saying that the first level is something that is not required. No, it's very important. But the idea is that I do not want to remain in nursery school for too long. I want to progress now into primary, secondary, university. I want to progress. I can opt to stay in nursery level and just worship Allah because of fear of fire of hell, or because of the bounties of paradise. It's an option. I can stay there. But then I need to build up, because the time frame I have is only this time frame. This is all that, for as long as the heart is beating, I have the time frame to elevate myself up. So, the fourth one is out of shame, that if a sin that I do not commit in front of a 6-year-old child, right, when I am in an act of committing a sin, and when a 6-year-old child sees me, I feel ashamed. But then the realization comes into me that the all-seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been seeing me all through. Whatever I have been doing, His eye has been there, watchful. And that realization puts me to shame, and I then, with that intention, worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I said one of them, I have missed out. The 6th level of intention of worshipping Allah is, oh Allah, I worship You not because of the fire of hell. I worship You not because of paradise. I worship You not because of the bounties that You have given me. I worship You not because of shame. I worship You simply because You deserve to be worshipped. Now that is level number 6. You deserve to be worshipped. And the 7th level, the highest level, is that, oh Allah, I worship You simply because I love You. And that love, the real love, not the pseudo love, the real love is, I'm not even expecting anything from You. I'm not expecting. I am not thinking about it and bringing it from inside are two different things. I can very easily speak this, but I know for me to act is impossible. It's very difficult for me. It's possible, sorry, but difficult. That I worship You totally out of love. I want nothing from You. Whatever Your will is, if You will me to be in a state of calamity, so be it. I still love You because it's coming from You. But this is the level, the highest level of the intention. So basically, tawbah only sets in when one is remorseful. I do not want to go into the 6 prescriptions of Imam Ali alayhi salam where he gives the conditions of tawbah. So inshallah, I understand now where Muhammad has put this into YouTube, and based on our connections that we have, if our connections are good, then you may be able to see this. Sasa, in tawbah, we make promises to Allah, Ya Allah, that yes, I did this, I did this, I did this. By the way, you can only be remorseful when you remember what you did. Correct? You can't be remorseful, you can't act to be remorseful. Remorseless should come from within. So what we suggested is one of the prescriptions, take a black book like this one, right? See, your family doesn't see this. Yeah, they might be having some secrets where they don't want to see what you've done in your past, but you want to see them. So you start going back 15 years, who are your friends, da 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 da. What did you do, da 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 da. Where did you go, write that down. What did you do then with your friends, so that group of friends. Then you go further down to secondary school, who are your friends, this is our friend. Memory itself, when you go to this level, you start picking up all the stuff that you have been doing. Write it down, write it down. I'm telling you, even you will be reluctant to write it down because you will be so much ashamed of what you've done. But write it down because in any case you will see it. You rather write it down now and sort it out now so that you don't have to see it there. That's the prescription. Now this is your book, you are the author, as you will be the author on that day. So this is your book. Read this book. When you start reading your own book, that remorselessness will come in naturally. So tawbah, you have made promises to Allah, Ya Allah, these are the things I have done in my life. I promise you, O God. You know, we said that there is the prayer of Tawabin, you know, the 2 rakat prayer, 4 rakat prayer rather. And we do the ghusl and all the works. And that's the time we ask Allah to forgive. And this thing has to go on. So like I said, when Tawbah station is over, when you go into the next station, the third stage is Muhasabah, you don't forget Tawbah. Tawbah is still with you, even if you reach the 100th station. Tawbah is still there. Okay? So, there you go. Tawbah. Now, after you have made promises in Tawbah, you go into the 3rd and 4th station, which is Muhasabah and Inaba. Muhasabah is now you take an account. Because now what you've done is journeying towards Allah is our objective. Moving towards Allah. When I commit a sin, I further away from Allah. Correct? The more sin I commit, I go more further away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, yaqda is a realization that, hang on a second, what am I doing? Where am I heading for? I need to stop what I'm doing. I need to make change in my life. I got to make some resolutions. I stopped there and I said, hang on a second, I don't want to go any further behind now. I need to proceed further towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So yaqda is stopping. Tawbah is that realization that what you have done. You stop here. Now if you commit more sin, you're going still further, but you don't want to do that. Because you don't want to do that, you go into the 3rd station, it's called muhasabah, self